Kids time.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Bob. Bob had a big, friendly dog named Shero. Bob loved to play with Shero every day, running around the yard, chasing balls, and having fun. But one day Bob's mum said, "Bob, please don't go into the forest. It's too big and you might get lost." Bob nodded, but didn't listen. He was excited and had a great idea. "Let's explore, Shero," he said. Shero wagged his tail as if agreeing. They ran together, far away from the house, until they reached the edge of the forest. The trees stood tall, and the forest looked dark and mysterious. It will be fun, Bob thought. They entered the forest, playing hide-and-seek among the thick trees and jumping over small rocks. The deeper they went, the darker it became. The trees grew taller, and the sunlight could hardly reach the ground. Bob started to feel a little scared, but didn't want to turn back. "Come on, Shero, let's go a little further," Bob said, but Shero hesitant. The dog looked around and whined softly, but Bob urged him to keep going. Suddenly, the wind howled, and Bob heard a strange rustling sound in the bushes. "What was that?" Bob asked, his voice shaky. Shero started barking loudly, but no one was in sight. They kept walking, but the forest felt different now. Shadows seemed to move, and the trees creaked in the wind. The air grew colder. Bob looked around and realized they had gone so deep into the forest that he couldn't remember the way back. "Shero, I think we're lost," he said, his voice trembling. He tried to turn around, but all the trees looked the same. The path was gone. Just then, a low growl came from behind them. Bob froze. Shero barked loudly, standing between Bob and the sound. The growling grew louder, and Bob's heart started to race. "What's that?" Bob whispered. Suddenly, glowing eyes appeared in the darkness between the trees. They stared at Bob and Shero. Bob felt a cold shiver run down his spine. "Let's go back, Shero. We have to go home," Bob said urgently. But the path had vanished. They were stuck. Shero barked once more and ran ahead, as if he knew something Bob didn't. Bob followed, and after a while, they found a small cave. Bob hesitated, but decided to go in. Shero entered the cave first, and Bob followed him inside. To his surprise, the cave led them out into a familiar part of the forest. Bob sighed in relief. "We made it, Shero. We're safe." On their way back home, Bob hugged Shero tightly. He had learned an important lesson. "Next time, I'll listen to my mum and stay safe." The forest was fun, but it was also scary, and Bob promised never to wander off again. Moral: always listen to your parents and never wander too far from home.